Good morning, students. In the last class, we discussed regarding data types, primary key, foreign key, and we discussed SQL commands. So, in SQL commands, the main no, the definition of SQL command is used to is an instruction are used to communicate with the database. So, the SQL commands. So, SQL commands. So, what is SQL command? SQL command are the SQL commands are the instructions or the instructions used to communicate with the database, right? So this is the definition of the main advantage of an SQL command. So SQL commands are the instructions used to communicate with the database. So as in the last class we discussed, that is we have so many different type of commands we have. So all the commands are categorized into different type of categories we have. The mainly SQL commands are categorized into 5 types. The first one, the last class we see, that is DDL, means data definition language. And next we have that is DML, data manipulation language. And third one we have that is DCL, it means data control language. And fourth one, that is we have that is TCL, it means transmission control language. And last one we have DQL, that is data query language. Okay. So these are the different type of SQL commands categories we have. So SQL command are the instructions used to communicate with the database. And we have SQL commands categories. There is first one DDL, that is data definition language. DML, data manipulation language. DCL, data control language. TCL, transmission control language. And DQL, that is data query language. So in the last class we discussed the first one, that is DDL. Okay, so in a DDL we have so many commands. So in DDL we have the first one is create command, and next we have a drop command, and alter, and the last one we have truncate. Okay, so these are the commands we have in a DDL category: data definition language, create, drop, alter, and truncate, right? So if you come to the second one, that is DML. DML consists of the different commands like insert command. Next we have update command, and we have delete. Okay, so these are the commands comes under DML, data manipulation language. And next we have that is DCL, data control language. So in a data control language we have grant is a command, and the one more we have, that is revoke. Okay. So these are the commands we have in DCL. Next one more we have, that is in next command category is TCL, transmission control language. So in a transmission control language, we have commands like commit. Next we have a rollback. Next we have save point. And the last one we have, that is DQL. So in a DQL we have only one command, that is select command. So these are the different type of commands we have. So SQL commands are the instructions are used to communicate with the database, and these all are commands. Okay, so all the commands are categorized uh, like a DDL, data definition language, DML, data manipulation language, DCL, data control language, TCL, transmission control language, and last one DQL, that is data query language. Right. So first, in the last class we discussed regarding this DDL. So what is data definition language? So DDL, or data definition language, changes the structure of the table. So these all the commands are used to change the structure of the table. So here I will write DDL changes the structure of the table. Okay, so to change the structure of the table, we should use create, drop, alter, and truncate. Right. So all the commands of DDL are auto committed. That means it permanently save all the changes in the database. Okay, so very important point, that is whatever the commands we'll use in the database for the table, so these are auto committed changes. Auto committed means, so once you apply these commands, then it means you permanently save all the changes. Okay, so then you can't change the things. So DDL changes the structure of the table. So structure of the table in the sense, but like creating the table, deleting the table. Right, you can, with the help of create command, you can create the table. With the help of drop, you can delete the table. With the help of alter, you can update the table values. Okay, so with the help of truncate command, you can change the values, or you can delete the values or rows from the uh, table. So these are the commands we have in a data definition language. Okay, so one by one we'll see. So see, each and every command, it has a syntax. Okay, each and every command, it has a syntax. So the regarding syntax we'll see in the next class. So next we have a DML. So in the DML command, what is the use of the DML command? DML command is a data manipulation language. So these commands are used to modify the database. Right, so whatever the commands we have in DML, that is insert, update, and delete, so these commands are used to modify the database. DML commands, here I will write, DML commands are used to modify the database, right? And so in this command we have insert. In this category we have insert command, update command, and delete command. So these are the commands are used to modify the database, whereas in DDL these commands are used to change the structure of the table. Okay, so don't get confused. So these commands are used to change the structure of the table, where the DML category, whatever the commands we have like insert, update, and delete, So these commands are used to modify the database. So first one, we have that insert command. Insert command is used to insert the values to the database or to the table, and update command is used to update the values what you have already stored. Suppose, for example, if the name of the student is ABC and if you want to change this to the XYZ, then you can use the update command. So next we have a delete. The delete command is used to delete or used to remove the rows from a table. Okay, so delete command is used to delete the rows from the table, right? So these are the commands we have in DML. So if you come to the DCL, data control language. So what is data control language? Data control language commands are used to grant and take back authority from any database user. Data control language. So here I will write the data control language commands. It is DCL commands. DCL commands are used used to used to grant and take back used to take back authority or a permission authority from any any database user, right? So you can see here in DCL command, in DCL we have a grant and revoke commands. So this data control language, in the sense these commands, these both commands are used to get the used to grant and take back authority from any database user. Okay, it is just like a user permission. So suppose we have some very private table. If you have, or you have a in database, we have created one table, and in that table you have some very important information like a password or any values. Okay, so such values, if they are very private and they are very important, right? So such information should be accessed only for particular user. So in such cases you can use the grant and revoke commands. So as he has given the commands, the data control commands are used to grant and take back authority from any database user. Okay, so in some cases, whenever you create the table, suppose for particular table only the particular user can access. Okay, so example, any admin, he can access all the information from the table. Okay, so to give the permission or to decline the permission, you can use the grant and revoke uh, commands, which comes in data control language. And next we have TCL. So the TCL commands means a transition control command language. Transition control commands can only use with DML commands. Okay, so these TCL commands are sorry TCL commands TCL commands can only TCL commands can only use with DML commands. Okay, like insert, delete, and update. Okay, insert, delete, and update. So these transmission control commands you can use. The transmission control commands can only use with these DML command: insert, update, delete. So in the next class, you will see how we will use these commands with these DML commands. Okay, so that we will see. And next we have DQL, that is data query language. So data query language, we have only one command, that is select command. So what is the use of the select command? Select command is used to fetch the database or fetch the data, is used to fetch the data or data information from the database, from the database, right? So that is, we have only one command, that is select command. So select command, it comes in DQL, data query language. The select command is used to fetch the data information from the database. Okay, so these are the available categories we have. Okay, so all the commands, SQL commands, all we call it as SQL commands, are categorized into DDL, DML, DCL, TCL and DQL. Okay, so in the next class we'll see the syntax of each and every command. So how to use a command called create, how to use a command called update, right? So with the example we'll see in the next class. Thank you.